Hi, and welcome back to Wicked Ones Tarot. My name is Carmen, and today we've got a reading for you about somebody that is really hoping they can find a moment to speak to you. Perhaps they're a little bit nervous. If they were to call, you might not answer, or if they were to text, you might not respond. So there's either a barrier here to getting to know you better, maybe some judgment from other people, or this is someone who feels like you don't necessarily want to hear from them. And it could be that because we've also got mother wounds. This is somebody who's had some struggles in terms of emotional intimacy because of the relationship they have with their mother. They struggle to connect with the divine feminine. Remember, we have feminine and masculine, all of us within us. And that feminine side is how you learn to accept or give love to others. And this is something they struggle with. Nonetheless, they have kind of put you on a little bit of a pedestal whenever they have good news, whenever something is especially, I don't know, it's like an accomplishment or um, it's you they think of. They want to share their good news with you. You're my favorite. You're the person I want to call when something good or bad happens. So I definitely feel like there's some healing that still needs to happen for this person, but their main focus right now is how do I get to talk to you? How do I get a conversation with you? So let's go and spirit with a little bit of wind chime chime. I hope you're having a good day. Hello, April Fools. How are you doing? If you would like a personal reading, my email address is wickedonestarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box below. And right underneath that, you can also click to join the memberships. There's 3 different tiers, depending on whether or not you want more shorts, regular videos, live streams, or personal readings. That's up to you. Hello, James. How are you doing today, hon? We're going to start with this is the Nightmare Before Christmas. What else do we have? The World. The Hierophant and the Magician in the reverse. All major arcana. Interesting. Something major has happened for this person. They've been able to end a chapter in their life. They have been more committed to a sense of structure or a positive routine. They may have even had a change in terms of their spiritual or their religious beliefs. And with the Magician in the reverse, this is an attempt to address the things that maybe they didn't take accountability for or that they wanted to kind of use as a reason to procrastinate, right? The happiest people in the world are the people who are completely aware of what they are capable of. And maybe that seems kind of basic, but when you know what you're capable of, you're not going to back down from opportunities. This is somebody who has had to let go of some insecurities or some fear of abandonment, rejection, probably tied to those mother wounds. Page of Presents or Page of Pentacles. Knight of Candles or Knight of Wands. And the 10 of Presents or 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. This feels to me like a need to start over, have a different approach, a different mindset, let go of some of the things that you were taught as a child, and reframe your understanding of yourself or the world with an updated, like I've been through some things, so now I have a better understanding. But this Knight of Wands is this sense of urgency they feel to communicate with you. And the 10 of Pentacles is in the reverse. I feel like there's either been loss or there's been perhaps no contact with a family member. Hello, Caroline. Hello, Rainbow Warrior. How we doing? LOL at the forgotten P, Darnell. Yeah, you deserve a crown. You're welcome, Rainbow Warrior. So we've got... That's going to sound weird. So he wrote the word hope without the letter P. So it's just ho. Although I did notice they've offered live chat summary now. So maybe that means you don't have that lapse where you can't actually see the live chat. So we've got Temperance and the Three of Needles or the Three of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, I think this is somebody who has decided to block or move away from, no longer be influenced by toxic family members, possibly more than one, right? And begin healing, create some more positive energy in their life and focus on the things that had caused the instability and drama so that they can remove those or, walk away from those things. What are those things, Carmen? I'm so glad you asked. Do you want to know why? Because the Queen of Swords just came out in the reverse. The Four of Potions. The Four of Potions would be the Four of Cups, which is our rejection card, right? Look, I like to balance my readings with jokes. I like to be a little bit silly, but I want to be real serious when I say this. Nobody asks to be born. And when you are mistreated or given not the best of opportunities by somebody who is supposed to be responsible for raising you, that is not your fault. And I feel like we have somebody here who is learning to let go of the resentment they have towards a parent, probably a mother, who doesn't seem like a very nice person. But just because somebody in your life was not a very nice person to you doesn't mean that you have to be living your life the same way they do or viewing things the same way they do. It also doesn't mean that you have to give that person access to your life. I think this is somebody who's cutting off their mom. Now, this is a general reading, so there's going to be variations. Take the energy how it resonates. This is a family member that is not a good influence on somebody, and whoever I'm reading for, they want to tell you that they have finally been able to tell this person to leave them alone. They're done. Two of Presents or the Two of Pentacles in the reverse and the Devil. I've been honest with myself that the reason things have been made more difficult or the reason that maybe I have struggled with certain things in my life is because of the influence that that person has had on my life. If I'm able to free myself from this, then things are easier. It's no joke that we have a card that represents earth angels or angels and the devil at opposite ends, right? This is like, if I get a little bit of distance from this negative energy, I can feel it in my bones. It's different. I'm not as angry or frustrated all the time. So maybe what I just need is to not have you in my sphere anymore. So this Queen of Needles or Queen of Swords in the reverse is being, I think, cut off from a person they're related to. This is the Bianco Nero. Hey, Laura. Hey, Elise. How are you doing? That was very graceful. Empress. This is a card that talks about a mother energy. Magician in the reverse. Page of Pentacles in the reverse. This is an energy that has blocked prosperity for, I'm going to call the other person the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is the person who would like to tell you what they've been up to. I think they want to tell you that they cut off their mom. I'm not talking to her anymore. She's not going to cause me any issues. Now maybe I can actually love you. Probably not going to say that directly, but that's kind of what they're getting at. This is somebody who likes to meddle in my life, or this is somebody who likes to tell me how to live my life, or you can't be with that person, you can't do that job. I realized that that was not an energy that ever really caused good things to happen in my life. It was more so like I was always waiting for someone to tell me what I did wrong. This is definitely manipulative energy. I feel like this is somebody who would have used kind of like that victim energy to try to control the Hierophant. 7 of Cups in the reverse, 9 of Swords, and the 5 of Pentacles. This is not an easy situation for anyone, but I feel in particular for the mother energy, the Empress, right? We have somebody that I feel like there's always like a thing I could do to get my way, but right now I feel like I can't. I always felt like I could control this person, but I see now that I can't. So it's like we become dependent on cell phones, right? You go, I don't know, make a phone call or text somebody and your phone won't turn on. You're going to be like, what the heck? Do the thing you're supposed to do. This is somebody who's like, wait a second. I've been used to you like pretty much doing what I tell you to do. What do you mean you're not going to do that anymore? They're confused. Not used to being separated or like unable to talk to this person, generally feeling like they could control the Hierophant. I think we've got somebody who's not going to tell the Empress energy where they're going. I'm leaving or I'm moving or I'm, going on a trip and I'm not going to tell you where I'm going. I'm just not going to be here. Now this Empress energy is stuck in very anxious energy, trying to figure out what they can do to address this instability or this drama and get that person like back, basically. This mother energy has come across as very selfish to the Hierophant, and therefore they're not really feeling that guilty over walking away. But it took them a while to get to the point where they felt like it's not my fault. So I'm not going to feel bad about it. Maybe there's a therapist that has helped this individual to look at things in a more unbiased way instead of how the Empress would view it. I'm glad to hear that. This is the Beginner's Tarot. High Priestess, 5 of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, you're like the Hierophant, not feeling bad. I had to leave for my own good. It's not my fault that you didn't want to work on things with me. High Priestess, oh, thank you, James. Somebody who is secretive or manipulative. So I see you for who you really are. I'm not going to pretend that you have good intentions. I'm not going to misread what's going on. The truth of the matter is that you could have been more loving or more honest with me. You were not. So in order for me to heal from this, I need to free myself from the person who makes me feel afraid or feel like I can't do things, the person who likes to hold me back or encourage resentment. This is someone who's saying, I tried to heal this. It didn't feel like that other individual was interested in addressing this. So I'm going to walk away. Hi, Carrie. How are you doing? Three of Wands in the reverse, the Sun, and the Empress. Wow. Heavy on the mother energy. I didn't expect you to figure it out. I didn't expect you to realize that you could do that. To be honest, there's a bit of like looking at somebody with condescension, being condescending. What is the like, anyways, sorry guys. Oh, I didn't know you'd figure it out. I didn't know you'd ever realize you could just like stop talking to me. It's very snarky. I think this is someone who expects the family member to come crawling back. Maybe you're going to need money. Maybe you're going to need, something. I think this is more denial energy. And we've got the Nine of Swords in the reverse. I think they're trying to minimize their anxiety or like convince themselves of something. But they don't have a clear understanding of the healing or the actual mindset of the Hierophant. They're assuming the Hierophant will be back because things will go poorly for them, but they don't realize this is going to be a stalemate. And if it's a stalemate, the Empress basically loses because this is like, I'm not going to talk to you. You didn't want to apologize to me? Well, you think I'm going to apologize to you? Nope. This is the Situations deck. Hello, Khalil. How are you doing? Hello, Co-Create. What's going on? Settlement, agreement, compromise, and then we have childhood. I think there was an issue here in terms of somebody not doing right by their child, not wanting to be honest about perhaps the relationship with others in the family or the father figure. We've got denial, not wanting to be honest about maybe their own contributions to the state of affairs. I do feel like accountability is a prime problem. You want to blame everybody else for things. We've got the interview card, clarifying settlements. Come together. And today. Yeah, I think we've got like an attempt, maybe a phone call or even somebody stopping by, like, hey, let's talk about this. And the Hierophant is not interested. I think the Hierophant is saying, no, I don't really care for how you handled this. I don't really care for how you tried to manipulate or control my life. And what I'd rather do is reconcile with this person that I love. So they're thinking about talking to you or like reconciling with you while their parental figure, probably a mother, is trying to get back into this person's life. I don't know if they'll be successful though. This is the Mystical Cat Tarot. Hey, Upper Echelon, how are you doing? The Hermit and the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. Grace. I've taken time to understand the situation and realized that I've had some problems connecting to other people because of how my mother treated me. Because I've figured that out and because I've taken some time to accept my own role in how things have happened, I know now that if I want to come back around and communicate with the person that I miss, there's a better chance of things working out because I'm not trying to run away from the problems or I'm not trying to blame somebody else. It's as if somebody has realized the things that my mother did in my childhood impacted whether or not I could be loving towards you. So if I deal with that and let go of that and forgive my mom, then I can actually be open-hearted and ready to love somebody like you. So this is like, I'm thinking about, how do I get to a place where I can be in a healthy relationship? I'm going to go ahead and say I did not give this person enough credit at the very beginning of this reading. They're intentional with this. This isn't just, you irritated me, so I'm cutting you off today. This is, I'm not going to invest in this relationship anymore because you don't want to see me do well and you make me feel bad about myself, kind of energy. I want to heal from the things that, happened when I was younger that made me feel like I don't deserve love, because the reality is I do deserve love, and it doesn't have to be the type of love that you approve of. So we've got the floating cat in the reverse, the hanged man in the reverse. I feel like we had that somewhere else. Maybe not. So because we have a refusal to change one's perspective, this is what caused the issues. And I think this is the person who decided, so I guess I need to think about things. I need to look at why I was acting that way or why things went that way. 7 of fire or 7 of wands. Someone who wants to fight for this. 5 of sea or 5 of cups in the reverse, and the lovers. I know that I could have walked away. I could have just blamed you or pretended like it wasn't, a real connection. But the truth is, I want to find a way to reconcile with you. And the only way to do that is if I acknowledge that I pushed you away. And the reason that I did that is because I needed to let go of these things from my past. The 5 of cups is in the reverse. So I'm not willing to let go of the opportunities that I have because of the things that happened in the past. I want to invest in those things. So they're not willing to walk away from this connection. Hello, Renee. How are you doing? So we have blessings and magic. This is kind of a bummer because what I'm picking up on is there is at the minimum a block on blessings for this Hierophant that was not going to end until they blocked their mom or this family member. The Hierophant potentially also literally had magic, like spells done on them by the mom. For some of you, this mother energy was trying to, like, whatever is your blessing should be my blessing. A little bit entitled energy. But they didn't realize that at some point this Hierophant would get a little bit too smart, figure out the situation, realize that this is not how the mother should be acting, right? So especially if they were, trying to like take the energy from their child, it's not going to go that well for them. Thank you. It's a great day. How's your day? If I forgot to mention, this is the Fairy Godmother Oracle. Celebrations. Knowledge and exertion. Yeah, I finally did it. I figured out what I needed to do. I had to be honest with myself about why I was this way or what influence this person has on me. And when I was honest with myself about that, it was easier for me to have this conversation or for me to just block this person, because I know I'm going to be happier and deal with less instability if I don't have to feel manipulated by this person all the time. So I did something and I want to celebrate. I want to tell you that I finally did this. I want to tell you that I've been working on something important. Because I feel like you would know that this is a stressful relationship for this person. Oh no, you guys. I didn't get all of them. Oh no. Okay, there's 3 more. We'll do honorable mention. Insecurity, healing, and divine love. Well, that's freaking awesome. So basically, I had some issues with fear or insecurity rising, or like as a result of the issues in my past, in my childhood. But because I've been working to heal those issues, because I have prioritized addressing what has made it difficult for me to love somebody, that healing is putting me in a place where I am now ready for that divine love. It might not be with the person from, my past. Maybe I'm just telling them that I've made, some moves. It's good. Hopefully you're happy for me. But I think this is somebody who wants to be in a relationship with this individual and they want to say, hey, look what I've done. They're ready for that divine love because they've dealt with those issues from their childhood. This is the Po Tarot. You're good, Darnell. Don't you worry. You made me chuckle. So we've got the 5 of Candles, and that's the 5 of Wands, by the way. We tremble with the violence of the conflict within us, of the definite with the indefinite, of the substance with the shadow. But if the contests have proceeded thus far, it is the shadow which prevails. We struggle in vain. The Hierophant has gotten to the point where instead of trying to use this, what is that, a megaphone? To try to get the Empress to listen to them. Hey, I'm my own person. Hey, I don't have to live my life the way you tell me to. Hey, maybe you should ask me how I feel. Instead of trying to convince this person that they need to change, the Hierophant has accepted. I am screaming at a brick wall. I am trying to change somebody who is refusing to change. So maybe what I need to do is accept that if this is an ongoing battle and there is literally no end to it, I can end it. I can walk away. I don't have to continue to try to convince this person that I am my own person. I can show them I'm my own person by walking away from this argument altogether. So this is where we've got a decision to let go of this relationship. If you're going to refuse to see me as my own person, or if you're going to refuse to admit that there were some things that maybe you owe me an apology for, then I will refuse to entertain you saying anything at all. The Emperor. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary, o'er many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. When I think about the things that have happened over all the years, when I think about the times where I've tried to make things right and that didn't work, it makes me realize that all of that exertion, all of that energy that I've put into trying to fix this relationship is energy that should have been spent by the Empress, not me. So this Hierophant is understanding the currency of energy. Why am I continuing to give to a situation that will not change? That person doesn't want to listen to me. That person doesn't want to hold themselves accountable. Therefore, I need to reclaim that energy. Queen of Wells or Queen of Cups. No guile disguised the fervor of love which animated her heart, and she examined with me its inmost recesses as we walk together in the valley of the many-colored grass. I realized that what had been happening between my mother and I was not unconditional love as I had thought maybe it was. I realized that it wasn't love because I found love with someone else. When someone else showed me unconditional love, or when somebody else showed me what it was like to feel supported or cared for, it underscored for me just how not great or toxic the relationship is between my mother and me. This is somebody who's saying, I appreciate you because you taught me what real love is. All right, let's get a few from the Hidden Truth Oracle. What else do we have? Really? How does that happen? I can only think about it being like an internet thing. But I'm sorry. So we've got, I can't stop thinking about you. I feel you even though we are apart. I left you before you could leave me. And they're going to apologize for that. I did that because I didn't know how to accept love. The timing just wasn't right for us. So they needed to work on their healing. And they feel like you were entertaining somebody else. They might have made assumptions there. I'm so attracted to you. I love you unconditionally. I remember every detail of that day, and you speak to me through music. This is the Voyage of the Soul. I love that. Hello, Aqua Beauty. How you doing? Dreams, lucid, subconscious, prophecy, patterns, answers, and journal. When I'm honest with myself about the patterns that have been established in this connection or this relationship, it's clear to me that you're not going to change, or you're not interested in changing how you approach this connection. Therefore, why don't I just make a change? Spirits, the other side, souls, veil, mediumship, and contact, haunting, curse, lost souls, eerie, psychic attack, and dark force. Some of you are going to learn that this person dreamt or had intuitive messages that made it clear to them they needed to end this connection with their mother. And it could be from a family member that has passed on. Or there's something else here that made it clear the energy from the Empress was absolutely a block to prosperity or happiness for the Hierophant. Communication, expression, voice, transmission, message, news, and connection. There's a message in dreams. You've either, your person or you have either already had this or you're about to. I feel like this is something that has already happened because somebody is, I feel, wanting to tell you that they've already ended this connection, right? Purity, innocence, light, humble, virtuous, moral, and genuine. They view you as somebody that engages with others with a pure heart or good intentions. They want to do something to spoil you, or they want to enjoy some entertainment or have a good time with you. Like I'm seeing like an amusement park. Hello, Elise. All right, what else do we have? And justice. So there's karmic justice because there is a relationship or a connection that hasn't really grown. If you don't want to take accountability for what you've done, then what can you really do to work on that relationship? I don't understand how that works. Like that's like a necessary building block of that next chapter, right? So I think we've got acceptance and a realization that maybe if this isn't going to change and they're not actually interested in working on things, then I should cut this off. And I really want to talk to this person from my past and let them know that I was able to deal with this because they know. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes. Did I say hello to Khalil? Hello. Remember, accountability is sexy. And I will see you on the next reading. Toodles.